most likely after 2 p.m. this afternoon.
Yep. Yeah, that's the back edge of the snow moving through Macon there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's a 1 hour or 2 hour loop we're looking
That
at.
is an hour loop right there.
So the back edge has gone all the way from pretty much I-85 over to Macon in the past hour, so it's zipping along.
It is. Go back, check on some of our cameras outside. Beautiful view. That's from our Beach Island camera. And you can see that's all snow 750 feet up. That is a cool view right there. We'll toggle around some other cameras. SRP Park. Few flakes trying to mix in. Man, I'm just so surprised. But I think further north up towards the lake too, I think they kind of have the potential for flurries. But I mean, from the video we saw in Lincoln County, I mean, that was some heavy snow that was coming through. It's surprising we haven't really seen that make its way east towards the dam just yet.
It's almost like it's a reverse lake effect.
Yeah, to where, lake temps.
It only takes a couple of degrees.
Right, yeah.
And we're above freezing anyway. So, maybe there over the dam it is 39, 40 degrees and just raining.
Yep.
I mean, I see a couple of flakes mixing in, but definitely not like the video we received from Lincolnton earlier.
Right. Good snow at Wheeler. That's from our Wheeler Road camera right there off the exit on I-20. Here, widen out this view, look towards the west. Outside of our studios.
And, we catch a lot of flack as forecasters, and, we signed up for this. We can take it. But, this is one of the challenges, probably the challenge we face in winter situations is, it's easy enough to say it'll snow or not snow, but then how much will it snow? And the challenge is the melting that goes on. And, you truly just don't know until it starts to happen. But with intensities like these, we're not seeing any accumulation yet in the area. And unless it picks up a whole lot from here, we may not see a whole lot.
Yeah.
And, those micro scale bursts of snow that develop, that's beyond the scope of the computer model, really. We know they're coming, or they usually come, but there's always going to be a lot of uncertainty in winter weather forecasting. So, not easy.
No.
But it is fun. It is fun.
It is. And
there's some flakes in Waynesboro, I thought.
That's our Thompson. That's one of the Thompson cams.
Oh, it looks just like that one.
It does. It
or a
looks
lot
like
like
that
it.
same intersection.
Yeah, State Route 150, mile marker 10. 17 at 150.
Yeah. And then this was the other view we were showing in Thompson
Harrison
earlier.
Road.
These cameras are acting a little finicky. But this is Tolliver County. And you can see that it did start to accumulate on grassy surfaces right there. This was our first camera we were able to see that snow was falling in the CSRA, and they definitely had some pretty heavy snow at times. And this is what we're talking about. If you get some heavy snow, even for a brief period of time, that can be at a good enough rate to where we do see some accumulation on some surfaces. Unlikely on the roadways since temps are above freezing, and cars driving over them keep them warmer. We've had a good bit of rain out there overnight. So on those grassy surfaces, elevated surfaces, maybe bridges, overpasses, maybe a few slick spots and a few spots out there. But
what will be interesting is if that snow doesn't pick up,
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say, if that snow doesn't pick up that we're looking at there in Tolliver, it'll be interesting to see, even with the temperatures in the 30s, how long it stays. Because you got the melting from underneath, and
yes,
that's always a wild card too. When we're forecasting this stuff, it's like, sure, an inch of snow fell, but will it stick around 3 days, or will it melt in 3 hours? And a lot like that snow we had last January, it would seem to me, based on the soil temperatures and even the air temperatures for the next 12 hours or so, that it's more likely, if we only get the amount you saw there on that camera, that it's probably going to melt away fairly quickly.
Yeah. And another factor of the forecast later today, do we see complete sun, or does it kind of stay a little bit cloudy behind this? And that can help with kind of how much melting occurs too. But pretty much all the guidance we've looked at for today is really showing temps at least hitting the 40s by later this afternoon. But that will be dependent if we do see clearing skies behind this. That's kind of what's anticipated to happen. So with sun out there, should be able to warm up this much drier air mass moving in behind this pretty quickly.
Now the video here, where's that from?
This is from Albany.
Albany, okay.
So I think is this a live feed, Gary, from our sister station?
WRDW?
Yep, so this is ALB in Albany, our sister station with Gray Media. And that is live view for you right there. So they have some accumulating snow there in Albany.
Definitely.
And this is something I've I've noticed since I've been here, Chris. I've been here since around 2017, and since I've been here in Augusta, Albany, Columbus, Savannah, they've all seen more snow than Augusta has in that time stretch. It's been so funny how some of these storms have actually kind of favored southern parts of the state and region, and not necessarily here towards I-20.
Yeah, I haven't checked to see if it verified yet, but it probably did based on that Albany video. But I went to school in Tallahassee, and it gets cold there sometimes, but they were actually going to get some snow today, which is...
For the second year in a row.
Yeah.
Which, that's insane.
I don't think it snowed while I was in college. Certainly not enough to pile up on the ground. I know I would remember that, but snow in Florida.
Crazy. Let's actually, here we can put it on our radar view. See if some snow had made it towards the panhandle. I think so. Looks like it got close. My low pressure centers.
It could still, yeah, Tallahassee's right behind that top of the L there, but that's on the outer, the just composite.
There we go. All right, on the I-10 corridor. Bainbridge, Georgia, though, getting some. And there's Albany
Florida
right
Parkway.
There you go. Okefenokee may see some flakes.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see Albany right there in our radar view. So, oh man, look at this view from our Beach Island camera.
It's picking up.
Look at this.
It's getting real.
Look at that shot from our Beach Island camera. That is awesome. And
that has to be hitting the ground at this point.
I think so.
If you're not getting snow in Beach Island, please let us hear from you, because
that is so cool.
The analogy I use for this melting going on is a cup of ice. You know, it can be a hot summer day. If you pour a cup of ice out on the ground, it's going to sit there on the ground for at least a few seconds while it melts. And but on the other hand, if you drop it 1 cube at a time, you're never going to have a pile of ice there. And that's definitely a pile of ice falling. Oh, it's sticking to the tower there, too.
Sticking to the tower right there. That's sideways snow.
Oh, yeah. Forrest Gump snow.
That is so cool. Love that. That's coming down in a good clip. And it's just so interesting. You can have a view like this, just going 700 feet up, but then you take a look at, say, like our SRP park cam.
And that's it.
And it's just a way different look.
Yeah, wind increases with height, so if we're at a 10 mile per hour wind, that's probably on the Beach Island camera 20 plus.
Yeah. Still don't notice many flakes outside of our building. But man, that beach island camera, that is cool.
You know, a wise viewer told me one time to try looking out the window one time. So I'm going to go over here and look out the window.
Always good to get some ground truth. Okay. We got some new video here. This is from Malik Bryant. Look at that. That's in Jefferson County, and that is accumulating snow right there on grassy surfaces. How about that? That is beautiful. I'm actually a little bit surprised to see already accumulations like that. Did Malik say where in Jefferson County he was, Gary? Check this out, Chris. This is Jefferson County. Can we go back to that one clip? Look at that. That's Jefferson County.
Wow.
Yeah. So
do we know what part of Jefferson County?
That's what.
Because not long ago we were told no snow yet in Rennes. That's definitely snow.
All right, we're checking in with Malik, and actually, is Malik parked or is he driving, Gary? I want to give him a call, see if we can just have him on speakerphone for the live. Here, I'm going to call him.
Hello?
Hey, man, are you driving?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, well, I don't want to put you in an unsafe scenario driving and talking and stuff, but we just got that Jefferson County video. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was near the intersection of Georgia 540 and Clarksville Road.
Okay. So, was that near Louisville or like up north towards Rennes?
It's closer to Rennes than Louisville.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, already accumulating, and that's pretty good little dusting right there.
Yeah. I actually changed plans instead of going to Thompson to go towards Louisville because I'm trying to see how well this band moving out of Sandersville is doing. And I mean, it's all of the grassy areas in Jefferson County I've seen are covered.
Wow.
Just like the video I saw. I sent.
So that is a healthy band that's actually producing some stuff.
Yep.
Good deal.
It was, yeah, like Glasscock County and Gibson. I could still see grass. It was like a trace to a tenth of an inch.
Mm-hmm.
But once going into Jefferson County and like where I am now, it's at least a half an inch already.
Wow, already happened. Okay. All right. So where are you heading to now?
I changed plans to go towards Louisville.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna come up through Rennes and then back into Augusta.
So come up Highway 1. Okay.
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, if you get a good spot to stop, get some video, love to see it, and we'll check in with you in a little bit.
Yeah, I'll be stopping downtown Louisville.
Cool. All right. Let's talk in a little bit. Bye.
All right.
All right, so meteorologist Malik Bryant heading to Louisville, and he was saying driving through Jefferson County, he was seeing covered surfaces with snow. So if you are underneath that heavy band, we were mentioning that there is a high chance you do see some accumulations out there. And oh man, just covered up our Beach Island camera. Oh man, that's how big those snowflakes are. That's cool. All right, let's go back to radar.
A couple of viewer comments here. We have snowing in Trenton, but not sticking. Amari Harris wants to know what's going on for Swainsboro.
Swainsboro. Okay, you're right on the edge right now, Swainsboro. So here, let's see if we can get this. So here is a look at our radar right now. So down there in Swainsboro and Emmanuel County, heading into Johnson County, likely all snow at the moment. Swainsboro, you're most likely seeing a mix at the moment, but it should transition to all snow here over the next, I would say within the next 15, 30 minutes, possibly even sooner. That cold air is definitely racing in behind that. So we are anticipating snow to pick up there in Swainsboro shortly. And if it's anything like what Malik was seeing there in Washington and Jefferson County, then I would expect some accumulations. Maybe not a ton, but maybe up to a half inch. On the higher end would be around an inch out there on the higher end of those totals. So that's why we have the winter weather advisory in effect. Nice. All right, so Miss Anna Lush up in Clarks Hill fishing right now in the rain snow mix and catching some fish. How about that?
Some snishing.
That is awesome. She's got herself a little bass right there.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. And hey, this is actually a decent time to fish. Usually animals pick up on these barometric pressure changes with fronts moving through, and usually leads to their increasing in feeding. So hey, Anna Lush got a nice little fish right there. And Anna's actually been on our brag board before too. So she submitted some fish pictures, and hey, right there, she knows how to catch them. First cast, nonetheless. So thank you, Anna, for sending that in. Looks like she caught it on a little rooster tail. Nice.
It's exactly what I was not thinking.
That's cool. So remember, very easy to submit viewer pictures, videos through our weather app, or also on our website. Easy to do too. We'd love to share what you're seeing out there. And as we were mentioning, love to see the ground truth, because we can see stuff on radar, but it's always good to verify kind of what we see on radar to make sure it is happening on the ground level.
Not going to see anything from that camera much longer.
Man, already seeing some big fat snowflakes cover up our Beach Island camera. You can see in that narrow little window, you can see some pretty heavy snow falling out there.
Too bad it doesn't have a defroster on it.
I know. Let's go back to looking at some of Malik's videos. So this was when Malik just went through Jefferson County. He's kind of following the really intense snow band moving through Washington, Jefferson, Johnson, and now Emmanuel and Burke County. So he's kind of chasing that snow band, and once he gets to Louisville, he's going to stop and get some more video for us, and then make his way up Highway 1 towards Rennes, and then us here in Augusta. But wherever this heavy snow band has ended up, it has led to accumulations there on those grassy surfaces. So pretty cool view right there from Jefferson County. And I think this is pretty much following what the forecast had. Some accumulations are possible, maybe up to an inch. Road conditions should stay okay for the most part because temperatures are above freezing. But with just really heavy snow rates and temperatures close to the freezing mark, that can lead to the accumulations we're seeing out there. But temperature-wise, looks like our temps down here freezing in Thompson.
Yeah.
Man, so these have trended a little bit cooler than expected.
Yeah.
So wherever you are at freezing, that is where we could have some of those road impacts. So make sure you're staying off the roadways until this advisory is allowed to be canceled. But they're in Thompson, even up towards Washington, still holding steady close to freezing. And our temperatures have dropped 4 to 5 degrees in Augusta here within the last hour.
Yep.
In Aikens as well, at 36 now.
So yeah, even the snow accumulations we've been looking at, within, in Washington County, et cetera, here in the western CSRA, looks like a lot, but in reality, it probably is less than a half an inch. It's not much at all.
Right.
Would be interesting. Oh, the canal's not pulled up there, but if somehow it accumulated, it would be interesting to see the canal covered up with snow, because
I know, since it
the
is
bottom's
drained,
exposed.
Yeah, that would be pretty crazy to see. And hey, with this happening, and then tonight we get down into the mid-20s, with that water being a lot shallower,
Could freeze.
maybe ice skating there on the canal tomorrow morning.
Kids listening, do not do that.
Do not do that.
That's you've heard the humorous expression "skating on thin ice." And,
That would be very thin.
You know, I grew up in the Atlanta area, and frozen water. That was always on the news when it would get down to 5-10 degrees there every now and then, and so yeah. All kidding aside, no skating on the canal, but yeah, there could be some ice in there.
Yeah.
Low to mid 20s for a few mornings in a row.
That is the thing. We'll kind of go, we haven't gone over the forecast in a little bit,
Yeah.
but so our first alert still in effect for today. We have winter weather advisories generally until 3 p.m. For most of our counties for snow totals up to an inch. That still definitely looks possible in any county that is underneath that advisory. Overall minimal impacts. Temperatures expected to be above freezing most of today, but we do have a couple of spots out there this morning that are currently right at the freezing mark. So minor impacts possible. I would stay off the roadways if you can help it, especially once the snow does start. Not the safest thing to drive in whiteout conditions, and I mean, we have seen pretty heavy snow at times with some of this banding passing through. Here's our setup. We had the front pass through last night or late yesterday into last night, and that's now stalled off the southeast coast, but we have this wave of low pressure just kind of riding along that front south of us, and that's helping wrap in some moisture to some cold air that is quickly moving in behind this cold front, and that's where we're seeing this transition to this snow on the western side of it, but on the eastern side it's been generally rain for a lot of us so far last night into early this morning. But now we're getting to the time frame to where the snow is starting to reach the Savannah River corridor, going to continue moving east. I would imagine we continue to see snow here around Augusta, and a lot of the CSRA, at least they're around 1 and 2 o'clock later this afternoon, and possibly seeing some heavy snow in a few spots that could lead to some of those accumulations. So we're going to keep that chance up until about 1-2 o'clock this afternoon. Anything that does not evaporate later today behind all this does have a high chance of refreezing. We are anticipating temperatures to get well below freezing tonight into tomorrow morning, most likely the mid-20s out there early tomorrow morning. So it is going to be a really cold night and can lead to maybe a few isolated slick spots on the roadways early Monday. But as far as the forecast for the rest of this afternoon here around Augusta, we'll keep temps staying steady in the mid-30s, and I would imagine kind of like what's happened west of us so far today. Temperatures drop and get close to that freezing mark. But once we get done with the snow, by later this afternoon, we're expecting to see some sun, high temps getting at least into the 40s, and we will see that snow move out of here after that time frame. Here's a quick look at our in-house model. It's done a pretty good job of actually showing this rain-snow line and kind of the timing of it. So we're right here at around 10 o'clock now, reaching us here in Augusta, and just following that line south and west. That continues to pass through. Once we get later into today, most of the rain is out of here after 2 p.m. and then we should see some sun behind this, which does allow temps to drop into the 40s. But as we head past around 10 o'clock tonight, temperatures drop below freezing, and then we should be able to see our temperatures get most likely to the mid-20s by tomorrow morning. So, and we're going to see cold mornings stick around most mornings this week. 23 tomorrow morning, 22 Tuesday morning, 23 Wednesday morning, and then close to freezing Thursday and Friday. But not expecting much rain tomorrow through Wednesday. We'll have high pressure kind of building in behind this, but will keep us mostly dry. So it's really just the next several hours. We got to keep an eye on these conditions, see how much snow is able to fall, and then hopefully most of this can evaporate before we get to the freezing temperatures late tonight.
I was looking at temperatures tomorrow morning. Doesn't look like the winds will necessarily go completely calm. So that 23 could feel like 18, maybe 20. So
Absolutely.
definitely enough to wake you up on hopefully a holiday Monday morning for you.
Cool view from Beach Island right there. Bounce around our cams again. It's outside our building. Did you notice anything when you peeked out the window?
I saw nothing.
Nothing. It's so interesting how the Wheeler Road camera, we've been seeing stuff the last, probably 30, 45 minutes, but not much here at our studios, just a mile or two down the road. Couple flakes every now and again. Not much up there at the lake though. Come back and see what radar looks like.
It kind of makes sense if this is how it ends up ending and panning out. You know, we are on the eastern fringe of the winter weather advisory, and the winter storm warning is back to our west. So conceptually, and I think in the mind of the forecasters at the Weather Service, things will be decreasing off to the east with nothing basically across most of South Carolina. So here in the Augusta area, we're kind of on the fringe of something and nothing, and we're kind of seeing that this morning. You know, we're getting the flakes, but will we end up with any accumulation? Looking at radar, it looks like there's a decent chance maybe we won't see it in the Augusta proper area, but maybe down in, I'd be curious down in Washington County especially. It's been snowing heavily there for a pretty good while. I could see them easily getting the inch, maybe a little more than an inch, since they're on the fringe of that winter weather warning, winter storm warning over there. Maybe they get 1 or 2 inches of snow, and then farther east, and especially up to the north where we are, not nearly as much.
Yeah. And I'm wondering too, just kind of widening this out. So obviously we have cold air trying to move in behind this. And it looks like the cold air is definitely more efficiently being able to move in around I-16 in that corridor. And we have the Appalachian Mountains right here, kind of blocking it from moving it closer to the I-85 corridor maybe. It's not kind of our classic setup with cold air damming already in place, where that northeast wind is dragging down the more localized colder air regime. In this one, we're relying on the cold air to move in from the west. And makes it just a little bit different setup.
We have wind particles on here that'll.
Yep.
That would kind of.
Maybe showing.
Come on.
Click on them and then go to properties. Let's just see what level here. Click on the wind particles. And then, okay, they are set for the surface.
Just a visual to show people the
the
flow around the atmosphere. But anytime you try to do something like that live, it never goes well.
Exactly.
We set all that stuff up usually behind the scenes.
Here, maybe, I wonder if we can...
It's not toggled on.
Oh, that'll do it. There we go.
Yeah.
So this is just kind of the direction of our surface winds. So all that cold air just kind of racing in behind it and leading to that transition zone. But most of the overnight hours for a lot of the area, we were in the low mid 40s. Rain was falling. It wasn't really till we got to after daybreak this cold air showed up behind it to kind of lead to this transition zone. And we have some cyclogenesis going on, that low pressure south of us, just helping draw down some of that colder air too. And just kind of a cool little weather setup we had for this event. But yeah, you can definitely notice, I mean, some healthy snow, I think, right there in Washington, definitely. Jefferson, Johnson County, where we're seeing this bright banding we were mentioning.
You're going to get a good dousing there, I would think, in Emmanuel County, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that darker blue hasn't even gotten to you yet. Would love to get a report from somebody down in Swainsboro if you're watching. Let us know what's going on.
That works. All right, we got new video from Louisville. This is from Malik Bryant. How about that? That's some. They got some accumulation going on a little bit. At least a little dusting. That's pretty much all snow though.
Oh yeah.
So that verifies what we're seeing on radar at the moment too. Radar showing they're seeing some pretty heavy snow at the moment.
And just as important, it's going to continue for a while.
I think so, yeah. A couple hours at least.
Yeah, so once the snow ever starts to pile up, the future flakes have something cold to fall onto, and it really allows it to start accumulating. It's just momentum in a way. Once you ever get that first flake to not melt before the next one hits it, then you start to get the sticking going on. And once you get to what you're seeing here in the video, it's just all on as far as accumulation goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're in store for some good snow here for hour plus, maybe close to 2 hours.
Yeah, you're definitely on track to get your inch. If anybody gets the inch that the weather advisory is for, Washington County down toward Emmanuel, Jefferson County, Burke County, I might even throw into there. You're going to have a good chance at getting those the heaviest accumulation that we see.
This is a 3-hour loop of radar, so this is going back to 7:25 this morning. This is when we started to notice Macon starting to see some pretty heavy snow, and just notice that they have stayed in that snow swath for about 3 hours, and now it's just now starting to move east of downtown Macon. So we're going to be probably in a similar setup for a lot of our southern and western counties like Jefferson, Washington, Johnson, Emmanuel, Burke County. And right now the the other two counties we're looking at, Jenkins and Screven County, they are not underneath a winter weather advisory.
Yeah, don't be surprised if they get added.
I think they possibly could.
Is that the Charleston office?
That is the Charleston office, which they do have a special weather statement out for rain transitioning to a mix throughout the morning. But we'll go back to temperatures too, just kind of check on what those are looking like at the moment. And I mean, hey, that cold air is reaching them. They got temps in the 30s already down there in Swainsboro. Millen's at 38, Sylvania right on the fringe at 40. Oh, this is good to see though, Chris. Thompson and Washington now back above freezing.
But the snow intensity eased up a little bit.
Yep. So just 15 minutes ago, Thompson was at 32, downtown Washington was at 32, and luckily those sites have gotten back above freezing. So we like that. We need that trend to continue, just to make sure we limit too much in the way of road impacts. Where we just saw that video from Malik though, So he's in Louisville, right there in central Jefferson County, and you can see they are in a healthy snow band right there. That is some dark blue on the radar, so that is good sign. Snow rates maybe half inch per hour. All right, more video coming in from Louisville. Good snow, and the thing is about this snow, it's just a good setup to see really fat flakes, which and leading to seeing on the roofs there in Louisville, this downtown Louisville, Georgia's first permanent capital. I didn't know that, but
No,
it's
you
right
didn't.
there on the sign too.
Yeah. Bet Malik knew that.
Yep.
He's a history buff, right?
He is. He's actually been in charge of doing our We the People segments coming up for the bicentennial. So every Tuesday, you can catch a news story that Malik Bryant does, focusing on local history here in the CSRA and how it kind of played into U.S. history of the last 250 years. So he's done a lot of cool stuff. And I mean, we live in a part of the country, obviously, that is very rich in American history.
Yep. All right.
Malik was asking what the Harlem radar looked like. All right, getting a report of snow in Evans. Obviously, Beach Out, that's our highest. Sorry, we're being a little quiet, folks. We're just kind of checking in on stuff.
Yeah, we've been out at this for about 2 hours now, so
Doesn't time fly when you're doing this stuff?
it does. It also flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, that's right. 2 hours. I can't believe it's already been going that long.
If you've been watching that whole time, we do appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I have a feeling a lot of folks, especially in Louisville and Washington County, are probably out playing in the snow right now. At least I would be.
I'm going to go make a quick cup of coffee real quick.
Okay.
You need anything?
I'll hold it down right here. No, I am good to go. All right. Yes. Yes. All right. So yeah, we're looking at the radar here. I've got our Facebook feed up here live too. So if there's any specific questions you want me to handle, I can take a look at those. Love the updates coming in. Nothing but rain out toward Windsor. I don't have timestamps on these comments, so not easily accessible. So snowing big flakes in Waynesboro. That's good to know. Got a pretty good bit in Washington County. Snow in Evans. Do I think it will reach Williams-Brice Stadium? Is there a football game going on there today? No? Short answer to that, if I had to answer yes or no, is they could have a couple of flurries over in the Columbia area, but the rule of thumb with this storm system is definitely decreasing impacts to the east, and that's why the winter weather advisory, I'll go ahead and put this graphic here up on the screen. That's why the winter weather advisory did not include, at least does not so far, anywhere in South Carolina. It doesn't mean you couldn't get a dusting to a half-inch of snow in Aiken or Edgefield County. It just means the chance of that is small enough that it didn't warrant the winter weather advisory. Winter weather advisory, by the way, is issued when up to an inch of snow is there. I believe it's a 20% threshold they use. When there's a greater than 20% chance of an inch of snow, up to an inch of snow, they issue the winter weather advisory. The pink area that does include much of central Georgia, that's a winter storm warning, and that is issued when the same probability applies to 2 inches or more of snow. So if you kind of think east to west here, you've got eastern areas under no advisory. We in the CSRA, or at least the Georgia portion, in the winter weather advisory, kind of the middle ground, and then the heaviest criteria off to the west. And that's kind of what we're going to see. So, and notice, you know, the Augusta, Columbia County area, really Burke County, the central CSRA, on the eastern fringe of that winter weather advisory. So honestly, you know, back to the west, Hancock County down in Washington County, you're closer to that winter storm warning. So you would think that, you know, you might be on the higher end of that winter weather advisory criteria than we would be in the Augusta area. And it is starting to look an awful lot like we may not see meaningful accumulation in the Augusta metro area. A huge band of snow could still develop. It is starting to look unlikely. It also looks like along and south of I-20, looking at the map here, going south, Highway 25, you're probably going to get a little more snow in Waynesboro, even down toward Millen that's not in the advisory area, than we may end up seeing in Augusta up toward the lake and over toward Edgefield, McCormick County. Saluda, you're probably not going to end up getting a whole lot either. So that's kind of how things are shaken out here. We'll go back to the radar here, and you can really kind of, hopefully you'll kind of agree what you're saying. What I'm doing right now is what we as meteorologists call nowcasting. Days ahead of the storm, we use computer models, rely on them heavily. Right now it's just some good old-fashioned radar analysis, and the darker blue you see on the screen, that's your heavier snow. The white color, I'll turn off the satellite imagery here to eliminate any confusion there, and the whiter color, that's just snow flurries. So the dark blue, that's your heavy snow that we've been showing you has been falling in Washington County, over into Jefferson County, Glasscock County, getting some pretty good snow. And Johnson County, don't have any reports from there, but it looks like you're getting some heavy snow. And in these areas, that's where we are getting the photos and the videos of the snow covering the ground. And this deeper, heavier snow that we're seeing here is traveling east. I'm not seeing a lot of a trend that it is going to be expanding north. And you know, if the ground was covered or even frozen, and if our temperatures were in the 20s, all of this would be sticking. We would all have a white yard out in the front yard. But as it is, it was 65 degrees yesterday. Ground temperatures, I haven't checked the specific soil temperature, but I'd imagine they're in the 40s probably for the soil temperature. And it's just making it very, very challenging for anything to stick. But down to the south, it is falling quickly enough that it just can't melt. And once it starts to stick, it does build some momentum and can start to pile up. Now, you may be wondering, how long is the snow on the ground going to stay there? I don't think the snow will be enough to freeze the soil underneath. So basically there will be some melting going on from underneath, plus temperatures are still expected to remain just above freezing. And on top of that, the sun may come out around 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon for a couple of hours. And where you do have snow on the ground currently, it may be gone before sunset, or at least most of it. Sorry to break your heart, snow lovers. I know last year's snow, this really gives me deja vu to about this time last year, January 19th last year. We had some areas I think got an inch or two of snow in the CSRA, but most of us just got a half inch. I know at my house in North Augusta, that's about all we got. Very fun to play in. My son and I had a blast in it. I think we wrote in the windshield of the car in the snow, all the fun stuff we do in the snow. But by that afternoon, it was pretty much gone, and not, makes us sad when the snow comes because it doesn't come very often. But that's probably the scenario we're looking at where you have seen the accumulating snow. It will be melting from below and from above, and not going to last very long once it does end. The other thing we're tracking is the back edge of the snow. As Riley was saying a few minutes ago, in the Macon area, that heavy snow lasted pretty much about 3 hours. Now the snow is out of Macon. So Washington County down into Emmanuel County, really into the CSRA too, that back, or the heart of Augusta, the Augusta Metro, I should say. We still think this is going to be pretty much out of the area by about 1 o'clock. Early afternoon at the latest, this is all going to wrap up. And I'll turn the satellite imagery back on here. And the back edge of the clouds is moving through Atlanta. So my dad lives over in Cobb County. He may be watching. Looks like they had some snow flurries this morning. Probably no accumulation there in Cobb County. But sun's coming out over that way. And I would say by 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the Augusta area, especially west of the west of Augusta. I keep saying that, but the sun's going to come out and briefly get our temperatures probably into the low 40s later on this afternoon.
Getting a couple reports, Chris, from Washington County, and they're measuring totals 1¼ inches.
All right.
Maybe close to 1.5. So that's coming from Tennille, near the intersection of highways 15 and 68. He sent some pictures and sent that report in through the Weather Service. Looks like they actually had an official snowboard too. So
all right.
So a little bit over an inch there in Washington County.
Ham radio operator?
Yep, there in Washington County.
Yeah, a lot of them are certified storm spotters. I'm not sure if he is or not, so he may very well have a snowboard. But just to give you, if you are going to measure the snow and submit those, the best way to do that is find an open area, a hard surface like a rail, even the hood of your car, not a grassy surface, because then you're dipping down into the grass and it does exaggerate those measurements. But if you're going to measure the snow, do it on a flat, hard surface away from trees and buildings. And we'd love to hear how much snow you get, if indeed you are seeing it pile up outside.
Mm-hmm. So a few reports coming in from Aiken, seeing snow there. Looks like the emergency manager there in Aiken County relaying some of those reports to the Weather Service. And also another Skywarn storm spotter, ham radio operator in Langley, South Carolina, near Burnett Town. Starting to see some light snow there. So has crossed over into portions of the Carolinas. We were having reports of snow off exit 11 in North Augusta, like starting 45 minutes ago, probably. Mm-hmm. But when I just stepped away for a couple minutes, I looked outside and honestly did not see a lot of flakes.
Yeah.
And I wonder even if there's a little urban heat island.
I had that thought earlier.
I think maybe slightly less of a factor just because we did have rain through most of the overnight, which kind of levels the playing field a little bit. But that's the only real reason I could think of.
Yeah. Some kind of, possible micro scale kind of thing going on. Yeah. I know in the radiational cooling mornings, there's a big temperature difference between even North Augusta and Martinez, just across the river from each other. I drive across the river almost every day, and it might be 28 at my house in North Augusta, and by the time I get to Riverwatch Parkway, it's 35.
Yep, exactly.
And, that's a car thermometer. But either way, the increase and decrease in temperature would be, close to the same. But Seem to have lost our
yeah, go to another
here.
or just minimize that one. Yep. And there's Max 3.
Yeah, I was going to go back to those DOT cameras, see if we have
yeah.
anything live to show in those areas where we are seeing the heavy
Beach
snow
Islands.
on radar.
Or no, that's the lake camera. Hold
Still
on.
a few flakes up there at the lake.
Yeah, there we go. All right, there's Beach Island.
Oh, yeah.
So that camera has been just
Looking
white
down
out.
into the clouds.
Yeah, just white out. That's cool.
Still nothing on the ground that I see, though.
Nope. There's outside our studios. Really just can't see much. Wheeler Road, I feel like, had a little bit more flakes than what's currently showing. And I wonder, too, Chris, I mean, we're getting further and further after sunrise. Temperatures have most likely bottomed out already, and we'll most likely see a little bit of an increase the rest of today. So I wonder if that
now the sun is
profile,
fighting the cold air coming in. So
So I wonder if temperature profile wise, I mean, it's crazy to see that at Beach Island, but then you look over across the river and it's just not much.
Yeah.
There's a few flakes there in North Augusta along the river. But let's go,
Nothing that's going to accumulate, though.
No, I don't think so. Let's see. We'll check our one in Thompson. Couple flakes, nothing crazy. Go to our other view there in Thompson. Yeah. There's the Tolliver County camera, so you can see some minor accumulations there on the grassy surfaces, but I don't see flakes flying anymore. So I guess snow pretty much coming to an end now across the western fringes of the area. We'll go to Grovetown.
Winter weather warning.
Whoa, I don't think we jumped up.
Of course, the sign says a winter warning.
Yeah. I didn't see an upgrade or anything. I wonder why that changed like that.
Have to wonder sometimes where the feed to those signs comes from. It would be very easy for it to be somehow feeding the winter storm warning from just to the west into that sign somehow by mistake, but
that view there doesn't look too snowy. Maybe a little bit. Definitely a mix.
Yeah.
Let's look at 520. Looks like to be near the river. I don't really see much happen on that camera. Is there a camera you wanted to check out?
I was wondering if any of the DOT cameras, are there any in the southern CSRA that might be down around where some of that action is?
Let's see.
There's Waynesboro, Millen.
Maybe this one. Come on. Baby, it's trying. The Waynesboro one was working earlier.
Yep.
A couple flakes.
Yeah, a couple flakes.
Couple flakes. This is right at State Road 24 as it meets Highway 25 right there in Waynesboro. Check in on Sandersville. Look at that view from Sandersville.
Holy cow. Wow.
It's just so interesting to see the big differences, kind of depending on where you're at. But right there in Sandersville, that's off Highway 15. Winter Wonderland.
That is a winter wonderland, and it has. Look at the traffic light there.
In
It's
the
outside
pine
of what
trees.
outside of what we can see on the Facebook feed, but there's an inch on the traffic light right there. It would seem.
Here, let's see if it'll adjust. You can see it.
There's a delay, I think, right?
There it is. Oh, right on the edge.
Yeah. If you're watching on your phone, it might be chopped off there on the right side, but.
There you go. So right there. And the pine trees back here.
Yeah, buddy.
That's awesome.
But at least in this shot, I don't see anything accumulating on the roads.
Not on the roads. Yep, exactly.
And that's where those warm soil temperatures come into effect, because the asphalt's even warmer than the soil is. So that's good news. If the temperatures do fall, were to fall in your area to freezing, your bridges and overpasses, of course, do freeze faster. But the majority of the roads are doing pretty good out there.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the roads, it will stick to the roads. I think it did last year in our snow event we had. It was, I think, colder maybe leading up to that snow, so you got a lot of sticking on the roads. And
yeah, that was a setup to where, I think a lot of us were in the 20s as snow was falling. And then,
maybe.
And then we got well into the 20s overnight that night, and then it stayed frozen on the roadways until we got a couple of hours after sunrise the following morning.
Sure did. Yep.
And there was definitely some slick spots around town. We had our cameras looking over the overpass right here at Riverwatch I-20 had accidents. The Calhoun Expressway, that camera looking over that way from downtown had a lot of accidents on it. So this is definitely a little bit different setup where temperatures will be above freezing, which should kind of limit a lot of that. But that is beautiful. Right there off the Fall Line Highway. Highway 15 right there in Sandersville. That is just so cool to see. And I wish we had one in Louisville. We've had meteorologist Malik Bryant kind of driving around that portion of the CSRA, and he sent us a video from Louisville that was really good. And you can see they've seen some snow, some accumulation on elevated surfaces, grassy surfaces. So that's definitely where the better snow has been, generally south of I-20. This is a look around Augusta. So this is 520 Glen Hills Road. Don't see much happening there. Couple flakes up there at the lake. Not a ton.
My thoughts as we get deeper into this event here, it seems like maybe we've kind of plateaued.
I think so, yeah.
And if you haven't had the accumulation yet, I'm starting to think you may not get it.
Right.
On the other hand, where the heavy snow is falling, you may continue to get it for another hour or two. But here in the metro area, like you mentioned, north of I-20, the radar trends and the history are not supporting that we're going to get, basically, looks like disappointment for people like me who really wanted it to snow in a big way. Of course, any flakes are fun to see, but snow in Allendale. Will there be snow in Allendale? Asked on our YouTube stream. And I think we can go back to our computer model. That was showing that pretty.
Right there.
Yep, there it is.
Yep. I think the southern and eastern CSRA could see a brief time to where it transitions over to snow. For us here around Augusta, our radar was doing a pretty good job, I think, of showing how we've kind of transitioned to mainly just rain. So that warm layer near the surface appears to be just enough to kind of lead to a lot of the melting of those fatter snowflakes we've seen across Louisville, Sandersville, even Thompson at times, Gibson too. And you can see those temperatures even, and our in-house model is kind of showing this too, that temperatures even in Wrightsville, Louisville, a couple degrees colder than us here around Augusta. But as we head past midday, you can see that cold air is just slimmer and slimmer as we continue heating up. And
you know, earlier it was indicating that the counties basically in green here at 2 o'clock would be getting snow. And now the latest data coming in is suggesting it may not happen for you there in Allendale. You may just be talking about rain. Could a flake mix in like we're seeing in Augusta? Possibly. But if this computer model is absolutely right, the trend here might be that you're not going to get the snow there. So I hope I didn't make anybody cry when I said that. And by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock here, I think we're all precip free.
yeah,
And back edge of the clouds, it would seem to me, based on the model information we're looking at here, may trail a little farther back to the west behind the precip than this model.
Yeah.
This model indicates it stops raining, sun's out, and it may not be that fast.
right.
But, maybe later in the day when the sun returns.
Which we do have. Let me look at visible satellite real quick. We've got enough light. It's crazy. It's already almost midday. So there's a current look at our cloud cover, and yeah, that still extends all the way back to basically the Alabama-Georgia line.
Mm-hmm.
But that precip doesn't really stop till you get east of Macon.
Yeah.
But interesting, seeing some snow down here on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Dothan.
Look at that. Yeah.
So it looks like they got maybe just a little bit, a little dusting, but you can also see it's melting away kind of behind it pretty quick.
And for those that may be wondering what in the world we're talking about, the white that you see moving there, that's the clouds. But if you look really closely behind the clouds, you can see a little bit of white that's not moving. That's where they've had the snow, obviously. Because a visible satellite, for lack of a better term or a good analogy, is kind of like a camera literally taking a picture of the Earth. It's not infrared rays or anything like that. It's actually an image captured. So when you do see the white on the ground there, it's not a ton of it, but you can definitely see lines of streaks of white there that clearly where some of the heavier snow came down.
All right, we got some new viewer video popping in here. So this is from Blythe, Georgia. There in southern Richmond County. They got some flakes there in Blythe.
Yeah, buddy.
This is in McDuffie County, Deering, a little bit south and east of downtown Thompson. Some good flakes flying there in McDuffie County. Probably not too far from the PFA there in Deering. Oh, look at that good boy.
Accumulating on the St. Bernard, isn't it?
So that's in Thompson. They had some good flakes, some accumulation there on the ground too. And on the pup.
This is in Thompson?
This is in Thompson.
All right. He looks thrilled.
Yeah. All right, so this is up in Washington and Wilkes County. So, hey, that was a spot that was
Indeed.
near freezing or stayed near freezing for several hours. So, no surprise, definitely some accumulation on a few surfaces out there. Have to bend your head a little bit. There's that video back in Blythe. Columbus had some snow this morning. Seeing that pop up as that cloud cover's starting to clear out.
Is the sun out in Albany yet?
I don't think
No.
so. Yeah.
I was going to say, they got a nice little...
Yeah, we had a live. Is that live feed from Albany still up, Gary? All right. We had a live view from our sister station. You say Albany?
Albany.
Albany.
Albany might be the
Albany.
Georgia way of saying it. Which I'm from Georgia. Never got on board with Albany, though.
Yeah, I know. Albany, however you say it in your dialect. There's some snow on the ground there, and we had some flakes flying on the live view just about an hour ago from our sister station there, WALB. And that snow really starting to cross east of 75 now, looks like.
Yep.
Albany, it looks like maybe a flake or two out there, but definitely
Yeah,
not
got
the
some
heavier
flurries.
snow like around Eastman, Wrightsville. If you're in Johnson County, I bet you have some pretty good snow happening at the moment.
Yeah, I was saying that while you were going to get your coffee.
There's a video from Graniteville, Aiken County. Some flakes flying there. Oh, some drone. This is in Burke County. Oh, wow.
That's a neat
Snow
perspective.
drone. Snow drone. That is so cool. How about that? So interesting again, seeing a lot of the best snow right now south of I-20. Kind of counterintuitive to what you may think. General setup, coldest temperatures and best ingredients further north you get. But in this setup, the highest moisture content and the best temperature profile right now south of I-20 for some heavy snow.
It's all about the track of the low.
Yep. I was wondering that, Gary. Yeah. Yeah, so this is viewer video that was sent to us. This was not taken by our Sky 12 drone. I know usually if the cloud layer is at a certain layer or a certain height, you're not supposed to have your drone up. But just wanted to let people know this was not our drone pilots taking this video. This was sent in to us, but it makes for some phenomenal video. That is
I
really
can vouch
cool.
for you, Riley. You're sitting right here.
Yeah,
So,
I've been here the whole time. All right, going back to radar. Heaviest snow right now, Johnson, Washington, Jefferson, most likely western Burke County, kind of near Vidette, up towards Keysville and Midville. I would bet you're seeing some flakes fly there. Swainsboro, it looks like you're still right on that edge.
I wonder if we'd get a better look at it on the Warner Robins radar for
Yeah.
down there to the south.
Here we'll turn off our Peachtree and our Charleston for the moment. So this is just strictly looking at our Macon radar. What I'm going to do, Chris, I'm actually going to switch over to CC. See if we can see this freezing layer in transition. So based off of that Macon radar, I would imagine it should be all snow for a good portion of our counties down south there.
What you're looking at here, it's called correlation coefficient, and basically the hydrometeors, which is anything water falling from the sky or anything really in the sky at all. It looks at everything. If they're consistently shaped and sized, you have a high coefficient. And if there's a low correlation between, we use it a lot during severe weather situations to try to spot tornado debris and stuff like that. But if there's a lot of inconsistency, there's a low correlation coefficient. And with snow, we look for a high coefficient, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because they're high similarity.
High similarity. All the flakes are not, they're all unique, we're taught that, but they're also similar in shape and size. And
Right.
I believe the way they tumble, it tricks the radar into looking at them kind of like spheres of all the same size. So
Right. And where it changes color right here, that's kind of our transition zone and freezing layer, where the radar beam is getting high enough into the sky and further into that warmer air to where it's seeing kind of a mixture of rain, snow, maybe some ice pellets. And then once it gets through that on the other side, well, now everything looks the same because it's generally all raindrops. And then very similar on the other side of it where it's all snowflakes.
Yeah.
And so where you're seeing the kind of orange yellowish color, that's where that mix kind of transitions from the rain towards the snow. Got more video coming in from First Alert Meteorologist Malik Bryant. He just got a little bit further up Highway 1 there in Jefferson County, and this is in Rennes. So right there in Rennes, you are seeing snow confirmed, and still some light accumulations there, at least a little dusting. A little bit on the roof right there.
And we'll let that video play for a few more seconds. But it has been a while since we kind of did a forecast recap.
Okay.
Is it going to snow in Augusta or just rain? Do you think we'll have another snow event this year? Looking at the 2-week forecast, there is some chance for more wintry precip. Personally, I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Yeah. That gets off into fantasy land a little bit once you get that far into the weather models. So for the immediate future, at least for the rest of this upcoming week, not looking like we'll see any winter precip. Temperatures will be on the colder side through Wednesday, a little bit below average, especially on the morning temps. But then later into the work week, we actually expect high temps to get up back into the 60s, most likely. So no immediate threat for another winter system over the next 7 days. But hey, it's winter time. This is the time of year where these could happen. These type of events can happen. So just going to have to monitor long-term trends, but at the moment, for the next 7 days, we don't expect another winter system out there. But we'll kind of go over the forecast real quick, and we'll just get you right starting off here, just kind of a live look outside. And this is our Wheeler Road camera here in Augusta. We've had a little bit better flakes flying at times. Now it's kind of just gone back to generally a rain look out there.
Yeah.
But we are going to continue our first alert. Temps right now 36 degrees, dew point 35. So Chris, as we were talking about, there could have been some evaporative cooling, but you can only cool down to that dew point. And with dew points not dropping below freezing, I don't think our air temps will either. But we do have this rain-snow mix that will continue through around midday. We have our winter weather advisories in effect until 3 p.m. That is for the potential of up to an inch of snow. I think that's looking less and less likely for us here around Augusta, but for other counties like Jefferson, Washington, Johnson, Emmanuel, even Burke County, not ruling out maybe some heavy snow does occur to where you get up to an inch out there. Here's our setup. So we had the front bring us some showers in a few spots yesterday. Well, that's now stalled off the southeast coast. We're seeing low pressures start to develop south and east of us, and these are just kind of riding along this front, helping wrap in some moisture over cold air that's racing in from the west behind this front. And this will continue that opportunity for snow here locally, at least through around 1, 2 o'clock. After 2 p.m., most of this precipitation should be out of the CSRA, but closer look at kind of where we're seeing this transition. And Based on what we're seeing on our tower cams, I think this is actually doing a pretty good job of showing the rain snow line here around the metro, to where a lot of interior Augusta, at least around the perimeter of 520 and Bobby Jones, not seeing a ton of snow here, not seeing much outside of our studios, but for places like Aiken, Graniteville, further up into I-20, they are seeing some snow. Same thing in Edgefield County, even up towards the lake, Columbia County, Martinez, Evans, Thompson, Rennes, anywhere further south. Definitely seeing some snow out there. And I would imagine the best snow chances to maybe see up to an inch would be for anywhere south of I-20, for places like maybe southern Richmond County, Burke County, Jefferson, Washington, Johnson, Emmanuel. That's where the best chances will be. We've been using our Harlem radar too, so remember this radar is located in southern Columbia County, and it's showing a very similar rain snow line, and this has actually given us an even lower look at our radar beam, and kind of shows similar to what the other radar sites is, and I think it's doing a pretty good job. Maybe a mix right there in Evans. Starting to see mainly snow in Grovetown, Appling, Harlem, but further towards us here in Augusta, looks like our temperatures are staying warm enough to really lead to mainly snow out there. Here's just kind of a timeline of the impacts we're expecting. So we are above freezing across the area. We'll stay above freezing through the afternoon, actually expecting temps behind all this to work their way into the low 40s. But late tonight into early tomorrow morning, temperatures will be dropping into the 20s. So anything that is not evaporated off of our surfaces behind this by this afternoon does have a high chance of refreezing. Maybe in a sheltered spot or two, there is a spot of black ice across the area. So going to have to monitor that threat for tonight. Here's a look at our current temps though. So every single location in our area is above freezing. A couple of hours ago, we had Washington and Thompson right at the freezing mark at 32, but they have since bumped up their temperatures a couple degrees. We're in the mid-30s here in Augusta, Evans, Aiken. So as long as our temps above freezing, that's going to limit most of the potential of snow accumulating onto any roadways. Once we get after 1 p.m., snow chances going down for us here around the metro. High temp around 41, 42 this afternoon. And we should be able to see some sun late into the day behind all this. And as far as those chances for snow, they just continue to drop off once we get past 1 p.m. And we'll be completely dry heading into tonight, into tomorrow morning. Here's a look at our in-house model. I think it's doing a pretty good job, Chris, just kind of showing that transition. This is a new update that came through recently that really shows generally just rain chances for places like Barnwell, Bamberg, Allendale, maybe some snow on the Georgia side of the river. But there's our temps hitting the 40s, clear skies, and falling all the way down into the 20s by late tonight into tomorrow morning. Looking sunny for your MLK holiday. High temps still cool, a few degrees below average even for this time of year. 53 tomorrow, 50 Tuesday. I think the big weather story once we get past this system is that we're going to have some really cold mornings, between 22, 23 degrees between Monday and Wednesday. But later on into the week, we're more seasonal feeling by Thursday and Friday. And unfortunately, it seems like we always time out the rain chances for the weekend. Again, next weekend, we got a chance for rain out there.
Yeah.
All right. We got some more viewer videos coming in. This one's from Wadley, I believe Jefferson County.
Jefferson County, yep.
Right there, I think south of Louisville just a little bit. They got some good snow right there. That's what I wanted to see here around Augusta. Just some good flakes flying for a little bit.
Thing is, we're at work.
I know.
And the blinds are closed.
And the blinds are
We
closed.
don't know how to open them. That's not true. But
there's a button around here somewhere.
if you open the window next to two weathermen, we couldn't pay attention.
We're bound to get a little sidetracked.
Yeah.
Go back out, cruise along the tower cams. Still see maybe a flake or two fly at times. They're from Wheeler Road, but not a lot. This is our Beach Island camera now in the clouds, further into the clouds. That's looking straight down towards the tower.
Whatever you do, don't look down.
Yeah. You can see it, it's accumulating on the tower right there a little bit. There's SRP.
A few flurries.
I think you're right, Chris. The lake is definitely creating a little micro scale feature to where not too conducive for flakes to fly up there at the moment.
The water has calmed down.
It has. It was pretty breezy out there earlier this morning. Outside our studios, not much. We'll give our first alert meteorologist, Malik Bryant, a call. Check in on him, see where he's at.
I was just thinking about that. How he got the fun assignment.
I know. He was reaching out to me last night saying, I want to be live. Where you at, man?
I am on US 1 headed towards Augustus.
All right. You still seeing flakes fly or no?
Still seeing flakes, but definitely not seeing any on the ground.
Yeah.
That's a big difference in southern Jefferson County, and then going into Rennes, you really start to see it fade away, and then now not seeing really anything on the ground.
Yeah. And even on the radar view, that rain snow line looks to be the rain line possibly expanding a little bit further west now. But in many of our tower cams here around Augusta, showing just plain old rain for the most part. We had a few flakes flying at times, but not really seeing a ton of snow out here around Augusta.
Dang. That's going to suck.
But, yeah, but it's funny how we've had reports Edgefield to Aiken, but I really think it's going to be south of I-20 now that has that best chance, kind of where you're coming from, anywhere in Jefferson, Johnson, Emmanuel County. Even Burke County, we had some good drone video of some snow in Golf or Go.
Awesome. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's why. It's also why I decided not to go to Thompson. Because when I went to Gibson, I was like, oh man, I didn't think it was going to be that quick of a drop off.
Yeah. Well, yeah, even Thompson had some pretty good snow for a little bit, but it's kind of tapered off. We got a DOT camera there. Definitely not
still
snowing.
Some snow though, even though the radar's indicating it might have turned back to rain. But
all right, well, continue to drive safe. We're just calling to check in, see how it looked.
All right, yeah, I'm driving through Blythe now, so I'll be back in about 25 minutes.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
All right, bye.
Peace.
Cool drone video. This is, I feel like I've made this mistake. It's spelled like cough, and I think it's pronounced golf.
I bet there's a comment in Facebook.
I'm sure there.
Want to bet?
I don't want to
let us know. I think it's golf.
I think it's golf, but then it's also spelled like though, to where you could say go.
But it could be guff.
It could be guff.
That's tough.
That's true.
See, it's not our fault. It's the English language.
The English language.
Or whatever language that name originates from.
Yep.
But no one's lighting us up too bad yet for that, but definitely.
Yeah. So this is from our GO satellite weather service.
Wait.
From our satellite view here. So this is showing the system passing through the two-state, and on the back side of the cloud cover you can see snow around Dothan to Columbus, and as this cloud cover continues to clear out, we'll likely see that brief little bit of snow on the ground, but it is melting pretty quickly behind this system, and I would expect something pretty similar for a lot of us as we head in through the rest of today. But just shows you how sharply that cloud cover does cut off behind the system. Always love seeing the GOES views.
I wonder if we got any measurable snow in Florida. Because every now and then when that happens,
I think so, yeah.
You'll have snow on the ground in all 50 states.
Oh, wow, yeah. Absolutely.
I remember that happening. I was still working in Macon, Georgia back at this time. There was a big snow there when I lived there, and that snow made it down to the Florida Panhandle. And that was, I remember of note was that there was snow on the ground in all 50 states at the same time during that system.
That's impressive.
Because Hawaii has high mountaintops that get snow. Of course, we know about Alaska, and Florida hardly ever sees it, and they did. So of course, Georgia and South Carolina all had it in the same event. So it's rare for that to happen. So if we did get snow into Tallahassee, maybe perhaps.
It does look kind of on the, it looks like right there at the beginning of this loop, you can see a little bit of measurable snow near the Panhandle. So I think that'll verify they at least got some measurable snowfall out there.
Just a thought-provoking thought. I do remember that happening one other time.
All right, let's see.
That's southeast Alabama.
Yeah, probably near Dothan where we were looking at earlier. So 2 inches of snow reported in southeastern Alabama from this event. Down in LA, lower Alabama. Wonder how our cameras down here are doing. This is our Georgia DOT camera in Waynesboro, Highway 25, where it meets State Road 24. A few flakes, not a lot. Definitely not the heaviest snow we've seen so far this morning. But on the radar view, it doesn't necessarily look like you should be seeing a ton of heavy snow there in Waynesboro just yet. Let's check on the Sandersville one again. This one is so cool, I think. And still seeing pretty decent flakes.
Yeah.
So that's right there off Highway 15 in Sandersville. So a short drive, 20-30 minutes south and west of Augusta. Looks a lot different than for us here around the metro, and that's usually how these events play out, is that, I mean, short distances can make a big difference on what you see.
I've never wanted to go to Sandersville so bad, but
if you're ever in Sandersville, you have to go to Dairy Lane and get a strawberry milkshake.
Oh.
They are the best.
So for those of you, listening in, maybe you just tuned in, because I know people drop in and drop out of these live feeds like this. As far as, we all know what has happened so far. We can look out the window. So a lot of folks are wondering, is the snow over? Am I going to get some? Am I not? And it is looking more and more like, if you haven't gotten it already, it's not coming. You've got your flurries. falling across the area, but if it's anything less than flurries, the ground's just too warm for it to stick. Air temperatures are above freezing. Oh, just outside the camera shot here over on our Sandersville camera. This car came from somewhere that had...
Oh, wow, yeah.
Let's see if I can... Oh, it went,
just out of frame. He was covered.
That car was covered. Wayland.
Nice.
Mitchell, Georgia.
Waylon from Mitchell. His first snow. How about that?
He looks pretty happy.
Yeah. Can't beat that first snow.
I think we could leave that photo up all day and people would just keep watching.
Yeah.
Almost as good of clickbait as puppy videos or pictures. But,
And we had one of those earlier too. It looked like a big Saint Bernard.
oh yeah.
You know he's got to love this type weather. That's what he's born and bred for.
And my dog. What?
What? How about that snowman? That's awesome.
Wow.
That's up in Wilkes County. I would not have thought there was enough snow to make a snowman that big.
They brought that in from like several counties.
Yeah. You can see all the grass mixed in. They had to really scrape that one together. But that is impressive.
Very.
And Wilkes County was one of the few spots that actually did hit freezing this morning.
True.
Another little snowman. That's the type of snowman I would expect for this event. But man, I mean, as we were just seeing in Sandersville, definitely snow-covered grassy fields. You can roll up a good ball of snow.
You can see the streaks where they rolled it up.
Exactly. Yeah.
It took all the snow to do it.
That is good stuff.
I made a little palm-size snowman last year in our snow we had just off the hood of the truck.
Yep. That's a good place to start for the snowball. Scrape it off the edge of the car, the hood.
And if you wash your car the day before, you can get enough to make some snow cream.
Ooh, there you go.
Don't want to eat the snow cream off the ground, though.
No. Oh, there's our
Saint
pup.
Bernard.
Doesn't necessarily look super thrilled, but you know he's got to love these colder temps and the snow out there.
He just doesn't know what to think.
Yeah, he's like, what is this?
Love the expression there on a Saint Bernard.
Yeah.
Is that a pig? I thought I saw a pig walk by there at the end.
I'd say the Saint Bernard likes the snow. I don't know about a pig, though.
Wait for it. I think it loops back through.
Yeah, let's
the
see.
last few frames, I could have sworn I saw a
little pot-bellied pig
walk by.
Let's see.
Maybe the dog's babysitting.
Yep. I think that's a little pig.
Wonder where the other two little pigs are.
Or just a really fat pup. Let's see, we're adjusting our video confirmation. Oh, this is a dog, I think. Another dog.
Oh. I just
It did. It did kind of look like a pot-bellied pig, though. I was fooled, too. But confirmation, just another good-looking dog.
Video review.
Yeah.
The call in the booth has been overturned.
It has been overturned.
It's a dog.
Live view right there in Sandersville. Definitely one of the snowier spots across the region so far today. This is a look at radar. So, let's get over here.
It does appear on the radar. There's definitely a trend toward the snow area converting over to rain, and ultimately, and it makes sense because the sun is up, so we have, even though it's behind the clouds, the influence of the sun kind of offsetting cooling effects and stuff like that. So, yeah, changing.
I think as far as forecast goes, I mean, we were leaning that there's going to be minimal impacts.
Yeah.
We'd have the chance to see some flakes, maybe some accumulations in a few spots, and I think that's kind of verified so far today. And the counties that were closest to the winter storm warning had the better chance of seeing the higher snow totals, so that kind of played out too. And for our winter weather advisory here around the Savannah River corridor, I mean, I think you timed this maybe a little bit earlier. We're looking at a little bit different scenario. So just kind of came down to the timing of it, positioning of the low as you were talking about, and how quickly we get this cold air to move in behind it to line up with the moisture too.
Yeah. No, I'm happy with the forecast.
Yeah.
You know, it's usually not gonna be perfect, but I think we gave people an idea of what to expect today, and I don't think too many people are surprised. Although, I mean, if you're like me and you were hoping for snow, I had my fingers and toes crossed, but ultimately we knew the whole time temperatures were not going to fall below freezing. We knew that it was warm soil temperatures, a lot for it to overcome, but we also had some confidence there would be some snow falling, and there is some snow falling, and it looks like for the most part, with exceptions, it just hasn't been able to overcome those other warm elements that made it a challenging accumulating snow environment.
Right. Checking the weather service chat, see if anything news in there.
Few snowflakes in Riverwood.
Let's see if we can pull up camera in Millen. The Charleston forecast office was talking about being able to see a little bit on the Millen DOT camera. Transitioning over to snow. See if we can get it to work. It wasn't pulling up for us earlier. No.
That's the one you want there. Yeah.
There we go.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah, there we go. So Millen finally tapping into some snow, which it's just so interesting how Millen, an hour south of us here in Augusta, is seeing snow, but we're not really seeing that look, at least here around the Augusta metro.
Nor have we.
Or have we, yeah. And on the, people aren't even, I thought we were showing the Millen camera. Here's the Millen camera. So this is down there in Jenkins County, transitioning over to a snow. This just happened a few minutes ago. So it's where we were seeing the bright banding on radar. That bright banding now moving into Screven County, so now they're on the back side of it. So it makes sense that they are transitioning over to the snow that we're seeing on the cam. And I think this should be generally the case for a lot of Emmanuel County too, especially between Swainsboro and Midville in southern Burke County. And that's where the best chance will be for seeing snow like this. On radar too, that's also where we have our darker blues, heavier snow potential. For anything popping up on radar here around Augusta on the lighter side, so maybe a flake or two can mix in, but looking less and less likely we would have a view like this for us here around Augusta. All right, this is a look at Grovetown, right outside the Zaxby's. This was sent in by Hayden, so thank you, Hayden, for sending this our way. So in Grovetown, they're seeing some flakes. That's good.
Yep.
At least the kids get to see a little bit of snow out there. And our Grovetown Wheeler Road looking better now too. Here's a live look from Wheeler Road.
Yeah.
That's better snow. So this camera has kind of gone back and forth. We've been able to see flakes at times, and it kind of moved back to rain. Now it looks like it's kind of moving back to the snow potential. Outside of our studios, a little bit less of any flakes I'm seeing. Downtown Augusta, see a few flakes mix in right there. Our Beach Island camera, this one's been awesome though. You can see it accumulating right there on the tower. This is obviously our highest camera, so it's higher up in the atmosphere where temperatures are colder, and it's much easier to get this stuff. So that's what also makes this whole forecasting process tricky, is that you go up a few hundred feet, it's a completely different thermal profile, conducive for all snow. Go down a couple hundred feet, above freezing, melting. Does it completely melt? Does it stay a mix?
Makes me think of forecasting in New York City.
Yeah.
Is it going to snow today? Well, what floor are you on?
There you go. Exactly.
73rd. Yes, it's going to snow.
Yeah.
Second floor, no.
Maybe a couple flakes there on Greenway Trail at SRP. Sharon Jones. Haven't seen much from our lake camera so far today, though. We'll go back up here to Waynesboro. A few flakes.
No accumulation, though.
No accumulation. Check in on Thompson.
Has the back edge moved through Thompson yet?
I think it's getting close. Definitely looks like it's tapering off. This current view in Thompson, not seeing much. I could just watch this camera all day. That's so cool. This is a current look at radar. So just kind of seeing that dividing line from rain switching over to snow. Our Columbia radar site is down. That would give us kind of the best idea of where that fine line is, closer to us here around Augusta. But for our southern counties, the Macon and Charleston radar likely doing a pretty good job of highlighting where that transition zone is. Yeah. So this is a live look at neighborhood there right at the Edgefield Aiken County line. Just kind of a live view right there. And a couple snowflakes every now and again. It's trying. It is trying, but we just don't have the available moisture, I don't think, here north of I-20 like they do in the southern CSRA to really see the heavier snow rates. So maybe you can see a flake or two for us here around the Augusta Metro, but to see some heavier snow like we've had videos of across Washington, Jefferson County, now Jenkins County starting to see that. That's just where they're closer to that area of low pressure south of us, so better forcing, better moisture to work with, and still those temperatures south of us are a couple degrees colder than us here in Augusta too, so just a better environment to see the heavier snow in the southern CSRA closer to I-16 right now.
Yeah, it would seem maybe the low tracked a little too far south.
So that's using Warner Robins. And then this is using the Charleston.
pretty consistent.
Yep. So it looks like that rain-snow line is working over Allendale to about Sylvania. So most of this kind of falling in Millen. It's now kind of transitioned to all snow, even though it shows green on the radar. We were just looking at the DOT camera there in Millen, and it's generally mostly snow falling at the moment. So I'd imagine kind of same thing, Midville, Swainsboro. And then may start to see a few flakes there in Sylvania here in a little bit. I would say from about right here, though, this is kind of our best opportunity to see some accumulation, some better snow rates. That's where temperatures are going to be cold enough, and also seeing some heavier snow at times. So just kind of going back into what to expect for the rest of today. This does continue to push off towards the east. We'll see less and less of that preset by around 1, 2 o'clock. And since we are going to be getting later into the day, temperatures likely will continue to increase just degree by degree. And so most of us should be already close to 40 by around 1 p.m. And then as the sun starts to come out behind all this later this afternoon, we will see temperatures work their way into the 40s. So that's going to help melt anything that did accumulate and also help dry off our roadway surfaces, especially with a little bit of a breeze, some sun. So that hopefully will limit the potential for any road impacts for a refreeze, black ice concerns late tonight into tomorrow morning. Because temperatures will be well below freezing heading into later tonight. But we're hoping a lot of this precipitation does evaporate off of most of our roadways once we get some sun, some warmer temps back later this afternoon. Checking in on our winter weather alerts. Weather Service in Peachtree City has trimmed back some of these. So Tolliver County, Hancock County have been eliminated from the winter weather advisory. We still have them in effect here around the Savannah River corridor and for places that are still seeing snow like Washington County, Jefferson County, Burke County, Emmanuel County. In Jenkins County and Screven County, you have not been placed underneath a winter weather alert, but you are starting to see some snow, just not expecting that snow to really get to the potential to cause minor impacts in order to issue an advisory. So you will see snow in Millen over the next hour or two, but with temperatures above freezing and staying above freezing through the afternoon, that should limit any potential for slick spots on roadways out there. But these technically do go in effect until 3 p.m. They could definitely be allowed to expire sooner. And with the trend from what we're seeing, how they're kind of eliminating these alerts west of us, I would imagine these kind of get chopped back sooner than 3 p.m. in many spots. But something we'll continue to monitor. There's the current view from our Beach Island tower cam. We'll bounce around these again, see if anything's changed, because last look, our Wheeler Road camera actually did show some snow. Seeing some flakes out there. Looks like it's definitely a mix there off Wheeler Road, but snow nonetheless. There is some snow out there. And I think I'm finally starting to see some better flakes here outside of our studios. We'll take the camera right off of our sign, off I-20. I don't see too many flakes, not too many. There's the lake. There's SRP Park. few flakes mixing in at times. Can't beat that beach island view. Downtown Augusta. Go back down, check our camera there in Millen. That one was showing some pretty good snow. Yeah, still snowing pretty decently down there in Jenkins County. Nothing to impact the roads though, which is good. Road temps well above freezing, should stay well above freezing the rest of today. So just kind of those, it's a fun opportunity to see some snow without really having to worry about too much in the way of impact. So pretty minimal event, kind of what we were expecting. Did have some pretty impressive snow in places like Washington. We've had some reports come out of Washington County so far today with totals up to 1.5 inches. So kind of the upper end of that 1 inch mark, but that has been generally for the southern and western CSRA so far today. Going back out to our radar view, still some pretty good snow there through Jefferson County, Emmanuel County, Johnson, even Washington as well. For us here around the metro, it looks like that freezing level staying just far enough above the surface to where we're still just kind of seeing a mix here around I-20. We'll switch over to our Harlem radar. And yeah, it's kind of shown that that layer of the atmosphere has warmed enough to where it's transitioned, but we can see from our Wheeler Road cam that there is still a few flakes flying out here across the metro. But with this kind of starting to work its way further east, as soon as this precip's out of here, we're not expecting anything additionally for the rest of the afternoon. So not really expecting anything to have an impact on roadways here around the Augusta metro. The only way we would have some maybe minor impacts if there's still some wet surfaces by the time we get to after this afternoon, and then those could definitely refreeze heading into tonight and early Monday. But that would really be the only threat we have for maybe a few slick spots on roadways, some icy areas. And we kind of showed this just a little bit ago, but some of our winter alerts have already been allowed to expire, and so most of these should continue getting trimmed away over the next couple of hours as this precip moves out, temperatures warm up. They'll likely start chipping away at these west to east across the area. Cool. I'm cool with that. That works for me. Yeah, I think impact's pretty minimal. So stay safe, everyone out there. We are going to wrap up our live coverage of this now that it's kind of tapering off and haven't seen major impacts in most of the CSRA. So we'll continue to monitor things here in the Weather Center. If we need to, we can definitely hop back on here and be live. But thank you for sending in your viewer pictures, giving us your reports. Definitely helps us tell the weather story and understand what's happening from what we're seeing on radar and our tower cams. So be safe out there the rest of today. Check back in later this afternoon for more updates here on News 12.